Hey, what's going on? Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com. I'm doing a very exclusive and special interview with a new guy in the scene, at least new for me. I haven't heard of him until very recently, but he's got some really good content. His name is John Anthony from John Anthony Lifestyle. And you can check him out at his YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/John Anthony Lifestyle. But something's telling me you can probably just do youtube.com/John Anthony Lifestyle.
I think you need to see, yeah.
You do need to see?
Yeah, can you throw it in the chat just so people have it?
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat right now.
The YouTube Live.
And also, I'm going to put this in the description below, so if you're watching this later on, then you can just check out his channel below. So why am I doing an interview with John Anthony? Well, he's intrigued me a lot because he has a claim. He has a special claim that he has slept with over 1,000 women, which is quite a lot. So I'm only imagining a man who has slept with that many women has probably learned a thing or two about what attraction is, what seduction is, and how to get a girl interested in him. I mean, am I right?
I've traded my life away. The past decade has just been eat, breathe, and sleep this shit. So, yeah, I've learned a few things.
How old are you now?
35. I'll be 36 in October. I didn't get into the game until I was about 27. So I was a late starter. Like official game, like reading the book, The Game, and Mystery Method and all that stuff. But I've been going out ever since college, regularly to parties and stuff like that. But I think leaving college, I've been with about 17 chicks. So things have picked up a bit.
So I'm curious, what got you into this? I mean, for someone who has slept with 1,000 women, even if you have that uncanny ability to be able to do that, that takes a lot of time. So you've been dedicating, like you said 10 years, I mean, a lot of time. So there must have been something that really triggered you to get this handled. I'm curious what that was.
Okay, yeah. So I came from like a super reserved, super introverted, shy place, social anxiety, general anxiety. In high school, I didn't really even talk to many girls. I was probably out of 700 kids in high school, like straight up probably the most shy guy in the whole high school. I sat with like 2 other really smart guys. I just had like a natural, like genetic intelligence, like a knack for being extremely analytical, like very, very hyper analytical. So I was able to, like in high school, I was day trading stocks. I was winning all these chess tournaments. In college, I moved into playing professional poker. I was taking all these advanced placement classes in high school. I ended up going to school for computer science and philosophy. Then I did 2 master's degrees in human-computer interaction and philosophy of cognitive science. And then took the LSAT, ended up going to almost went to law school, but ended up working on nuclear missiles for the U.S. government for 5 years. Like if there was a nuclear, biological, or chemical missile attack on the U.S. or our allies, how do we optimize the speed of response time and accuracy of response? So it was mostly devoted to intellectual pursuits, like the analyzation. But I had all this social anxiety, and I started becoming more extroverted as I got into college. And one of my really smart friends who ended up doing like a PhD in quantum physics, he was like, dude, you got to read this book called The Game. He's like, it teaches you how to get girls. And I had no idea how to do it at that point. This was back when I was maybe like 23, 24. And I was like, bullshit, it sounds like a scam. So most people that hear about that there can be like a method to the madness or a strategy, they think it sounds like a bunch of snake oil or a bunch of scamming stuff. So for like 2 years, I was like, no way. And he's like, trust me, like just give it a chance. And I was like, no. And then he got into the book called The Mystery Method, written by Mystery from the community. And he's like, you got to read this one too. And I remember there was one particular night that was like the turning point where I had won like a really big poker tournament, won a whole bunch of money, took all my friends out to celebrate. We're buying all these drinks, having a good time, tried talking to a bunch of chicks, and just got fucking destroyed the whole night. And I was like, dude, I remember coming back home, and this was like the turning point. I was saying to one of my friends, not one of the smart ones, but I was like, dude, like that fucking sucked. Like we need to learn this shit. We need to figure this out. My buddy's been recommending this book. Like I'm going to read the fucking book. So I went and read the book, The Game, and that was like, oh my God. Right. I'm sure you've read that book before.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who hasn't. I mean, it's funny too, because I always say to guys, like, my story is no different than any other guys. That's what got me in too. That's what got tens of thousands of guys into it, because no one was aware of the idea that you could learn how to meet women. And I think that book came out and was embedded into pop culture, right? It was a bestseller. So all of a sudden guys were like, wait, you could learn this stuff? This is a thing? right? So yeah, that's how it sounds like you got a hold of it as well.
Yeah, so it really was kind of like a big flip, and I just treated it as just another skill game. So I always advocate to my clients, and I've always held the position, this is just a skill game. I look at it just like chess, just like poker, just like if you were trying to get good at professional sports. I look at it as strategy and tactics, and the way that I've kind of evolved and optimized the method over the years, and I can go into that later, but it's basically been find the best guys at this, and always trying to be finding guys that are better than me at any area. So if guys are better than me talking to girls during the day or at nighttime, or with texting, or with retaining the girls, or with going on dates, or any little aspect of the game, I sit down with them, befriend them, of course, not just leech off them, but exchange what we're both doing, try to figure out what it is that makes their system work better for that particular area, and then adapt accordingly after testing it against what I'm doing, basically like a scientific method. And I'm also always analyzing the whole system and looking for weak spots and suboptimal spots, and also trying to figure out what are the big things that make the results happen at the end, and how can I tweak those things to make them produce more results. So I had the system really solid by around 2012. That's when I hit my first 100. That was June 2012. I hit 100 leg count. And then I actually started instructor assisting for Real Social Dynamics, RSD, in the second half of 2012. And I just really saw their system as too abstract and too woo-woo. And I didn't really there wasn't enough strategy and solid focus on the things that I thought mattered the most. So I started my own company in 2013. But I didn't really get serious about my YouTube until about a month ago, because I had so much business from word of mouth referrals, because guys that took my programs got really good, really fast, usually on the first night of training. So I just had plenty of guys to train, and I did it as a hobby at first, and then I quit working in the tech industry back around 2014. So I've been having that extra time definitely helps a lot too, because I can go on dates during the day with girls that are in college or that don't have full-time jobs and stuff like that. So there's more opportunities for dates and closes. And basically a typical day in the past 10 years was either on a date with a girl I was already seeing, texting to set up new dates, or out at the bars and clubs, meeting more girls, or using Tinder or something like that. So it was almost all the time was devoted to game, for better or worse.
So, 1,000 women is a lot. So that means you've approached thousands and thousands of women. That means you've had thousands of conversations, interactions.
I haven't tracked the approaches, but I do know, in my phone currently, around December of last year, I had over 10,000 contacts. So my close rate's about 10% out of the phone numbers I'm getting.
So you would say then that it's a bit of a numbers game?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, volume has to be a part of this, but skill is a big part of this too. But I think one of the big misconceptions in the community is that, or just with guys trying to learn to get good with women, is they think that most girls they talk to will like them. Most girls they get a phone number will meet up. But I've talked to a lot of other top guys. I don't know if you can confirm these stats, if you kept track of these stats or not, but 10% seems to be, where the top guys are doing in terms of bringing a phone number to a sex encounter.
So you're saying that 10 numbers, 1 out of 10 will end up be someone you're having sex with?
Yep.
I'd say, I don't know for sure. I'd say that's about right. You know what I mean? It's all relative too. If there's a guy out there who has barely done this before and he's doing 5%, so that means he's doing 1 out of 20. I would say that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
So, I guess, I don't know. I haven't really kept track of that.
It sounds low. It even sounds low to me, because I'm wait, a lot of times I go up to a girl, she likes me, I take her home. I don't need to do approaches all night. Or most dates I have, I can get the girl to come back and hook up. But if you really think about it though, 2 a week, just talking pure numbers, 2 a week times 52, that's 100 a year. There's not many guys doing that. I know a lot of the top guys, there's not many guys doing that consistently. And we're all meeting a lot more than 2 girls a week if we're going out a few nights a week and doing some Tinder and Bumble, the occasional day game approach during the daytime. So, if you're meeting 40, 50 girls in a week and you can close 2 or 3 of those, or even 30 girls and you can close 3 of those, that really starts to add up over time. So it took me 11 years to the first 100, 11 years after losing my virginity. And then I was doing about 100 a year. And then I made some key tweaks and did 143 in 2015. And that we'll get into all the. A lot of people when I talk like this, they think I just sound like a huge asshole.
Why do you say that? Why do you
I'm
say
talking.
that?
Well, I'm talking. People are like, oh, you're objectifying. The thing is, like, the girls that I date, they know, like, I form like really close connections with these girls. I don't just treat them like a number. Like, I don't objectify. Since I talk about these things in terms of stats or in terms of, like, a lot of my game is very systematic, just how I view poker and chess. Not like robotic, but there's high level flows to what's happening. So, like, you're still being yourself and the whole thing's dynamic, but there's a lot of high level flows and structure and rules that apply. And when I talk about things like that, people think I'm like looking at it very callously or mathematically. But I always try to make sure people are aware that I'm differentiating the process from, the interactions with girls. Like, I get pretty close with all the girls I'm seeing regularly. We treat each other like boyfriend, girlfriend without the label most of the time for the rotation girls. Yeah, when I talk about like, oh, I'm doing 100 a year, 200 a year, like, it just sounds a little off-putting sometimes to people.
Well, how do you feel about it?
I don't think it's off-putting. I mean, I'm not really just like going for numbers. Like, that's like, I think like
Are you sure? Because I think you are.
No, because there's plenty of there's plenty of chances that I have to go on new dates where I'll see girls. Like right now in Poland, there's like 16 regular girls, and that's a lot of work on its own. But I'll prioritize them over going on new dates. Like, I'm not even going on many new dates that often. I think the high number comes as a byproduct of skill, and I also keep the quality really high. So if I have an opportunity to close or get with a girl that's, like 6.5 to 7 range or whatever, a lot of times I'll pass that up. Or if I'm talking to a girl and she gets too drunk at the bar or whatever, I'll be like, hit me up later during the week. There's like plenty of opportunities where I pass up on stuff that I could get the number higher. And I talk about that in my videos, where that's not just like this cold hard thing going for numbers. And a lot of times I'll spend a Friday or a Saturday with like one of my favorite girls that I'm seeing regularly when I could go out and meet 15 more girls or whatever. So I think it comes as a byproduct of skill. Like, granted, not having a 9 to 5 helps a lot to.
Do you think that a high leg count should be a goal for guys?
No, I think guys should have like their own personal goals, whatever that may be. But I think that they're going to need to get. Guys use the term like batting average, like a good probability of whatever stranger they talk to, they should get that skill down pretty well. And that usually comes as a product of more experience and more volume. So like, I just got an email from a client maybe a few weeks ago. He said that he started studying my stuff when he'd been with around 12 girls. About 14 months later, he'd been with about 115. And then he had like this like perfect full package girlfriend, and he like dropped out of the game for now. And he's like, I'm totally happy with this girl now. But he couldn't have just said in the beginning, like, all right, I'm just going to get that girl now, because he wasn't ready yet. Like, he needed to like kind of work his way up. You can't just like jump to the top and you don't have the presence and the value and the charisma and all that stuff that comes through the experience of dating a bunch of girls. And like, a lot of guys look on my program and they haven't been with many girls, and they're like, all right, I only want to sleep with a girl above a 9 on this program. And I'm like, yeah, don't we all? You're going to have to like work your way up to that. Like, the first time I was around a 9 on a date, I was like terrified. I mean, you might be able to relate. It's hard to just,
you're not used to hanging out with girls who are really attractive. So it's you get as nervous as you are to maybe approach them. Mm-hmm. Now you're going on dates with them, or you're consistently sleeping with them, whatever it is. And so you're trying to get over that as well. So I do agree in that aspect is. Whatever your goal is, even if it is something that's a long-term relationship, you do need to have some skills under your belt. You need to be going out and going on a lot of dates. I mean, just to get good at being able to interact with women, and also trying to find out what kind of woman you want. It's
exactly.
all depending on what your goal is. What do you think your biggest lessons are from sleeping with over 1,000 women? Just like a couple of your biggest ones, like something that really sticks out.
I would say, well, in terms of like the process of getting them, I found that the biggest thing in the whole system and the whole process is working leads correctly, which refers to phone numbers. So like the management of setting up dates, like taking phone numbers you get from nighttime interactions, daytime interactions, online game interactions, and setting up those dates. That's, I think, the key to actually getting those girls to meet up, doing that properly. But other stuff I've learned is, I don't know, I've just seen so many instances of cheating and lying and stuff like that. I mean, guys do that stuff too, but I don't know. You kind of get a little bit jaded after seeing enough of that stuff.
But
Where
you're saying like the women that you've slept with are cheating on their boyfriends?
sometimes, I mean, you see enough of girls cheating on their boyfriends or their husbands, or just, being involved as a coach and being friends with other guys that are sleeping with a bunch of girls or doing this, to get better. You just hear about so much stuff and see so much stuff. Whereas, I don't know, it's hard to find like a good, like right now I'm living in Eastern Europe, and the girls are have more traditional values and stuff like that. I think a lot of girls in the Western cultures have, for better or worse, well, definitely I think for worse, but have kind of drifted more towards this like disrespecting, kind of more slutty, more kind of sleeping around girl. And she's like constantly trying to trade up. So it's tougher these days to be in a monogamous relationship and have faith in the girl. Whereas a lot of these girls in Eastern Europe, that doesn't even cross their mind. They're just focused on you, and they have like this, this familial structure and value stuff going on in their mind.
Well, this is interesting. So I'm imagining if you've had all these experiences, I'm wondering if you've had any conversations with some of these women that have been cheating or what did you say, dating up. I'm wondering if they've said anything to you of maybe why, like anything, or more specifically, if they've said anything about their dating up or their current boyfriend or husband or something like that. Like, do you have any insight there of maybe why that's happening?
Yeah. A lot of the girls that are cheating, it's their dude is not high value enough. Like a lot of times he's like a stable provider kind of guy where he's like a rock in their life. And maybe he's paying for some of their stuff or whatever, but he doesn't bring that alpha presence to the table. He doesn't have like the proper confidence and charisma. And, so they kind of want to, they're usually trying to gravitate towards the bad boy guy that's, going to have sex with them better, and it's going to give them more highs and lows and better experiences, and is going to be crawling up their ass and texting them all day and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's like probably the most negative answer I could have given in terms of what I've learned.
I mean, whatever stuck out to you stuck out. Apparently, I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes the negative stuff has more of a presence in our mind than the positive, right?
Yeah, I think on a more positive note is like I've lived in a whole bunch of different countries now too, all over the world, and I just this stuff doesn't get boring. Like meeting new girls doesn't get boring. Each girl is like a new fun experience for me. Like they have different personalities, different interests, different types of stuff they like to do. And so for me, like I just like having rotations because they're like a harem of regular girls. Because there might be like one girl that's like shy and wants to talk intellectual stuff, another girl that wants to go out and party.